Welcome everyone. Cost management, a culture to be nurtured, is what we will be talking about it. Managing cost and your life becomes easy. So what is cost? The question is, what is this cost? The bag that we need to keep in control, the expenditure that we need to keep in control. Remember, cost is nothing but the value of money that has been used to produce certain things. It is a monetary valuation of efforts. It's a monetary valuation of material consumed. It is a monetary valuation of the time consumed, the resources consumed, the utilities risk incurred, and the opportunities foregone in production. Remember, the opportunities foregone is the opportunity cost in production and delivery of goods and services. So everything entails a cost in producing. It's your time, it is your effort, it is the material, it is the resources, it is the opportunity cost that we need to go around. It is the risk that we take to produce a good. Now, this involves cost. Everything needs to be understood there. Why? So cost management is nothing but all about budgeting. Now, how do you budget? First and foremost, you need to plan it or estimate it. Once you have estimated, you put it in writing as in budget, you allocate funds around here, and then probably you start with the project of producing or anything for that matter. Once everything is in execution, you need to keep a tab on your cost. Otherwise, again, I repeat, otherwise, your cost will go haywire. You need to keep a control of the cost. So, cost management is the process of planning, is a process of controlling the budgets of a business. It helps the business to predict impeding expenditure, to reduce the chances of exceeding the budgets over a period of time. That needs to be understood time and again. So, cost consciousness, it is an urge not to spend more money than what is required. Having an awareness of cost, careful about spending, is cost consciousness. It is being rational of how much money is to be spent on what all phases, what all things, or what all priorities per se, and that is what cost consciousness would be looking into it. Costs that can be influenced or regulated by a person responsible for it. Can it be controlled? Definitely yes. What are it? We can have trade-offs. There are complementary goods. Let's say you want to have a cup of tea, probably you can replace it with a cup of coffee, and so on and so forth. So there are a lot of complementary things. Example: direct material, direct labor, certain factory overheads per se. Then comes certain costs which are not probably within your means to control. It is just beyond cost imposed by top management. Let's say the cost imposed by top management says I need to have this much of margin to operate a certain business. Now that's a fixed cost by margin stated by the top management. So cost needs to be collected, and probably you need to keep that margin in mind while probably settling down to a price or selling price per se. So cost collected at different department: advertising cost, depreciation, insurance, share of rent per se, and things like that. The costs which are external to the production unit, the costs which are external to the companies are uncontrollable costs. Let's say the tax rates, which has been tweaked by the government. Is it within your control? Probably not. Let's say the resources consumed, which is you are dependent on the external agencies, and they might hike their rates altogether. Probably, can you do anything about it? No. Case in hand, you are in a business of painting, oil paint, producing oil paints, but the prices of oil has gone high. What can you do? So these are uncontrollable costs. How to be cost conscious? Cost consciousness is nothing but is a culture. You should be always be on your toes when you're making any sort of expenditures, or probably any sort of work that you're doing it. How to drive this behavior? How do we know that we have achieved cost consciousness? Process is to build a culture and not a company. It is how you act, how you behave, how do you conduct your on a daily activities. Position is not a bar. Culture underpins your organization, corporate values, and business strategy, ultimately the success of the business. Creating a cost conscious culture means being aware of the entire proposition, and that is what we are looking forward towards it. A working to protect and generating value on an ongoing process. Cost can be about focusing on prices, but really it needs to be on innovations, cost management, and efficiency. It is a mindset. Remember, it is a mindset that considers the benefit and implication of cost cutting and weighs upon the risk too. Absolutely. When you are using an alternative thing, the quality, the output of the quality can be not up to the mark. So that is what needs to be weighed in as a risk. If we lose a customer by cutting our cost, it is not the right decision. If we lose the end product quality, it is not the right decision. The mindset needs to be ingrained in the organization as a whole and not just as a leader. It should be in the culture. Did I say cost consciousness is to be a culture and not a company scenario? Creating an enduring corporate focused on a strong, sustainable cost discipline. This requires universal and tireless effort per se to engage and motivate the entire organization to deliver on that particular vision. A cost conscious culture is about helping everyone at all the level understand how they can optimize cost base and empower them to take a decision. Cost conscious culture should create a positive impact, never a negative impact. People should not be able to shy away just because of the fact that this particular company is cost conscious or this particular company is a poor paymaster. Probably you need to build an image. If you are cutting down the cost, but probably not the cutting down the quality of life for the workers, for your employees altogether, giving the best of the ambiences thereby. It makes a mark. So it should create a positive impact and not a negative one. It is to be lived on a day-to-day basis, on a daily basis. It is enshrined in the mission statement of the company, thereby cost control should be measured as in vis-a-vis every output, every department, every functional unit, how they are managing their daily expenses, encouraging everyone to continuously look at improving the bottom line. Cutting down the cost means increasing the profit. It be the revenue cost or both improves the product, probably the services, so that the customer growth occurs no matter what. So implementation of this culture, the control culture, is strong direction and support from the top management for the cost reduction initiative, with a clear link to the organization strategies, with a clear link to the organization scope, with a clear link to the organization objective, a strong foundation in place before introducing transactional initiative, ability to assess and challenge the overall spend culture of the organization, bridging the silos, frequenting interactions between finance and operating expenses, bridging the silos. What are we looking out here? We are trying to manage both the end and the best possible output. It can be a marketing impact, direct marketing activities. We all understand marketing activities would incur a lot of expenses, but then can we balance it with certain kinds of revenues as finances, or let the cash flow, can it be done on a staggered fashion? So you do a marketing activities with your vendors, probably you start paying it within 15 days, 20 days, 30 days EMIs, equated monthly installment, or equated installment of 20 days each. Why so? Because the marketing activities have enacted and then the revenues are expected to flow in. So as the revenue flow is, the cash flow becomes healthy and you can manage the expenses thereby. So bridging those silos is very important. Effective and ongoing communication regarding cost reduction plan to lessen resistance among staff. Efforts for entire workforce per se, as the case might be. Then comes the continuous commitment from the top management, controlling costs throughout the life and operations of the product or services. Absolutely, it should be a culture. It should be ingrained in the DNA of the company. And believe me or not, controlling cost is not the company event. It is a day-to-day event that needs to be monitored, and probably everybody should strive to achieve it. Incentivize productivity, incentivize innovations, eliminate unproductive processes and bureaucracy. promote effective competitions, improve professionalism of entire workforce. Continuous learning, continuous education is the only key for achieving cost controllability and understanding every drivers that incurs cost. We need to be developing clear goals, build accountability for this goal by assigning individuals, by giving responsibility to teams at every level. Focus on areas of opportunities, avoid waste, avoid ad redundancy, but keep customer satisfaction intact. Make it fun and worthwhile. Example, holding a contest with some awards, accurate and timely records, regular performance reviews, plan of actions, budgets, delegation of cost control responsibilities and authorities, as the case might be. So that is what we are looking forward to it. Now, what are the CMS role of cost management accountant roles is all about it. It is collection of data, analyzing them, understanding where the pilferages are more, where the expenses are more, where it can be controlled. The interpretation into a meaningful form, presentation to the management with the reasons of variances compared to the standard set. Initiative to drive the process, cost audit at every appropriate time as on when on required. It can be at the beginning of the project, end of the project, but what stops you from conducting a cost audit in every at every interval during the projects? So this is what you need to understand. There can be variances definitely within your set budget and the actual budget. Why? Because it can have certain cost which is uncontrollable, which is beyond your means to control. There may be certain situation which demands certain amount of cost. So cost should not be an event. It should be a discipline. It should be in your outlook. It should be in your behavior. It is nothing but a culture of an organization. Remember, Warren Buffett says price is what you pay and value is what you get. That is very important. With this, I come to an end of this presentation. Thank you for watching this video till the end.